Daf Yomi, Tractate Menachot, page 108b, top of the page, starting at the very top of the page, the first words of the page, starts the Gemara. We just finished the Mishnah on the previous Amud. Sagt die Gemara, v'ha amet reisho, sho'amon v'hevi shnayim v'monin lo yotzo. The Mishnah teaches that if one vows to bring a certain bull as a burnt offering, and it became blemished, he may bring 2 bulls with its redemption money. The Gemara asks, but didn't you say in the first clause, meaning in the previous Mishnah, 107b, that if one said it isn't coming upon me to bring a bull with the value of 100 dinars as a burnt offering or peace offering, and he brought 2 bulls with a combined value of 100 dinars, he has not fulfilled his obligation. If so, why does the Mishnah here teach that one may bring 2 bulls with the redemption money of 1 bull? The Gemara answers that these 2 cases are not comparable. The previous Mishnah was referring to a case where one vowed to bring a bull worth 100 dinars without referring to a specific bull. Therefore, he is obligated to fulfill the specific conditions of his vow. By contrast, this Mishnah is referring to a case where one said this bull is hereby a burnt offering, and therefore, if the bull becomes blemished and disqualified as an offering, the halacha is different. Since he was only ever obligated to sacrifice his bull, and is no longer able to sacrifice it, he is no longer obligated by his vow, and may bring any number of offerings with his value. Shnei shvorin elu oilo v'nistavu rotzu yovin b'dimei Menachot v'Rebbi Oiser. My time. The Mishnah teaches that if one says these 2 bulls are hereby a burnt offering, and they became blemished, if he wishes, he may bring with the money of their redemption 1 bull. And Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi deems this prohibited, and holds that he must bring 2 bulls. The Gemara asks, what is the reason that Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi deems it prohibited to bring only 1 bull? Mishum dahavi leka dol v'havi katan v'afagav leistaev kachatchila lo shari rabbi. The Gemara answers because it is similar to a case where one vowed to bring a large bull and he brought a small bull, in which case he has not fulfilled his vow. Similarly, in this case, he vowed to bring 2 bulls and only brought 1 bull. And although he is not actually obligated to bring 2 bulls, as the bulls that he consecrated became blemished, and he needs only to bring an offering with their redemption money, nevertheless, Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi does not permit bringing 2 bulls instead of 1 ab initio. The Gemara asks, but if so, let Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi disagree in the first clause of the Mishnah as well, which states that if one consecrated a specific bull as a burnt offering, and it subsequently became blemished, he may purchase 2 bulls with this redemption money. Thereto, Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi should prohibit bringing 2 bulls ab initio, as it is similar to a case where one vowed to bring a small bull and brought a large one, in which case Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi also holds that he has not fulfilled his obligation. Rabbi Yakole mitaplig ונתן לו לרבנן דמאסקי מילתאיהו והדר מפליג עליו. The Gemara answers that Yehuda Hanasi disagrees with this entire matter, both of the first and latter clauses of the Mishnah, but he waited until the rabbis had completed their statement and then disagreed with them with regard to both cases. Teda diktoni ayil ze v'nistaev v'rotziyo v'b'nom keves keves ze li'oilom v'nistaev v'rotziyo v'b'nom ayil Rabbi Oiser shmamino. Know that Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi disagrees with the statement of the rabbis in the first clause of the Mishnah as well, as the Mishnah teaches that if one said, "This ram is hereby a burnt offering," and it became blemished. If he wishes, he may bring a lamb with its redemption money. In a case where one said, this lamb is hereby burnt offering, and it became blemished. If he wishes, he may bring a ram with its redemption money. And Rabbi Yehuda honestly deems it prohibited for one to bring one type of animal with the redemption money of another type of animal, even if he wishes to bring a ram with the redemption money of a lamb. Evidently, Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi disagrees with the rabbis, even in a case where one consecrated a small animal and wishes to bring a large animal with its redemption money. Conclude from it that he also disagrees in the case where one vowed to bring a certain animal which subsequently became blemished. The person may not bring two animals with the redemption money. A dilemma was raised before the sages. According to the rabbis, what is the halacha with regard to one who wishes to use the redemption money from an animal of one species which became blemished to purchase a different species of animal, for example? If one vowed to bring a bull which subsequently became blemished, may he bring rams with its value instead? Tashema. Shorze oila v'nistayev lo yavi b'dam v'ayil. Aval mivei b'dam v'shnei eilim. Rabbi Yehoshua l'fnei shem bilo. Shema mino. The Gemara suggests coming here a resolution from that which is on a Brida. If one said this bull is hereby burnt offering and it became blemished, he may not bring a ram with the redemption money, as a ram is not worth as much as a bull. But he may bring two rams with its redemption money, if together they are equal in value to the bull. And Rabbi Yehuda honestly deems this prohibited, the reason being that one must bring two meal offerings to accompany his two rams. The meal offerings must be brought in two vessels, because there is no mixing permitted. Accordingly, bringing two offerings runs counter to the person's vow, which involved bringing only one meal offering. Conclude from this Braita that according to the rabbis, it is permitted to use the redemption money from one species of animal to purchase a different species. The Gemara asks, if the rabbis deem it permitted to bring a different species of animal, why does the Braita specifically state that one may bring two rams in place of a bull? The same halacha would apply even for one ram, as although one ram is smaller than one bull, in a case where the animal became blemished, according to the rabbis, there is no difference whether one brings a large animal or a small animal. If one vowed to bring a ram, he may bring a lamb instead. So why not a ram in place of a bull? The answer is there are two Tanaim, and they disagree with regard to the opinion of the rabbis. The Tana of the Mishnah holds that the rabbis deem it permitted to bring a small animal in place of a large animal that became blemished. The Tana of the Braita holds that the rabbis do not deem it permitted to bring a small animal in place of a large animal. Rabbi Yehoshua. Okay, we'll take a little break. Be right back. Weiter, back from the break and going weiter. Where were we? Right. Rabbi Yehoshua l'fnei shem bilo. Trei tanoi v'livi d'Rabbanan. Right. The Gemara answers there are two tanoi. They disagree with. Okay, we said that already. Rabbi Yehoshua l'fnei she'ein bila tamali ein bila hayesh bila shari. The Braita states that Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi deems it prohibited to bring two rams with redemption money of a bull because there is no mixing. The Gemara infers the reason that he deems it prohibited is because there is no mixing. But had there been mixing, according to Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, it would be permitted. The Gemara asks, but didn't we learn in the Mishnah that if one said this ram is hereby a burnt offering and it became blemished, if he wishes he may bring a lamb with his redemption money. If one said this lamb is hereby burnt offering and it became blemished, he may bring a ram with its redemption money. Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi deems it prohibited for one to bring one type of animal with the redemption money of another type of animal. Evidently, Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi prohibits any kind of divergence from the animal that was consecrated, regardless of whether mixing is permitted. The Gemara answers, these are two Tanaim, and they disagree with regard to the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. The Tana of the Braita holds that Rabbi Yehuda deems it prohibited to switch to a different type of animal only if it affects the accompanying meal offering, whereas the Tana of the Mishnah holds that Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi deems any kind of change prohibited. The Gemara cites the latter clause of the right to all the cases in the Mishnah and Braita are referring to a case where the animal became blemished, and with regard to pure animals, meaning those that are not blemished, if one vowed to bring a calf and brought a bull instead, or he vowed to bring a lamb and brought a ram instead, he has fulfilled his obligation. The Gemara explains that the unattributed last clause of the Braita is in accordance with the opinion of the rabbis. Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi would disagree in this case as well. Daf Yomi Amar Menachot bar Zvid Amarav Lo yishanu el adam al shor ze oilo aval al shor ze alei oilo arei shor ze alei oilo hukva. The Mishnah teaches that if one vows to bring a certain bull as a burnt offering, and it became blemished, if he wishes, he may bring 2 bulls with its redemption money. Rabbi Menachot ben Bar Zvid says that Rav says the sages taught this halacha only in the case where one said this bull is hereby burnt offering. But if he said this bull isn't coming upon me to bring his burnt offering, his responsibility for it in a case where it became blemished is fixed, and he must bring 1 bull with its redemption money, not 2. Okay? That's it. That's the Talmud there. Mishnah. Hoimer. Echad mikvosei hekdish. Ve'echad mishvarei hekdish. והיו לו 2 הגדול שבהן הקדיש. 3 בינוני שבהם הקדיש. הרשתי ואינו יודע מה שהרשתי, או שאמר לי אבא ואינו יודע מה הגדול שבהן הקדיש. With regard to one who says one of my lambs is consecrated or one of my bulls is consecrated and he has 2 lambs or bulls, the larger of them is consecrated. If he has 3 lambs or bulls, the middle size among them is consecrated. If one says I specify the lamb or bull, I specify the lamb or bull. If one says I specify the lamb or bull that is to be consecrated, but I do not know what animal I specified in my vow, or he says that my father said to me before his death that he consecrated one of the lambs or the bulls, but I do not know what animal he consecrated, the largest of them is consecrated. Okay. That's the Mishnah. Now Gemara. Abba Makdish Be'en Yafi Makdish Ein Masefa Be'eni Shebehen Hekdesh Alma Makdish Be'en Ra'a Makdish. The first clause of the Mishnah teaches that if one says one of my lambs is consecrated and he has 2 lambs, larger one is consecrated, the Gemara infers apparently one who consecrates generously. But say the latter clause of the Mishnah, if he has 3 lambs, the middle-sized animal among them is consecrated. Apparently one who consecrates sparingly. How can this contradiction be resolved? Shmuel said the presumption is that one who consecrates generously. When the latter clause of the Mishnah states that the middle-sized animal is consecrated, it does not mean that only the middle-sized animal is consecrated. Rather, the larger animal is consecrated, and additionally we are concerned. Meaning we must take into consideration the possibility that the middle-sized animal is consecrated as compared to the consecrating small animal. Consecrating the middle-sized animal is generous. Therefore, the vow could have been referring to either the large animal or the middle-sized animal. Hechi Abid, Amar Chia Barav, Mamtin Lo, Acheyu Mechile, Nikadushate, Begadon. The Gemara asks, how should he act? He consecrated only one of them, and it is uncertain which animal should be sacrificed. Rabbi Yehoshua bar Rav said he should wait until the middle-sized animal becomes blemished and then desacrifice it by transferring its sanctity into the large animal, which is then sacrificed on the altar. Amar Nachman Amar Rav bar Abu, Lo yishona ela damar echa mishvare hegdish, aval Amar shor mishvare hegdish hagadosh behen hegdish. Torah b'Torai, the Mishnah teaches that if one had 3 lambs or bulls, the middle-sized animals consecrated. Nachman said, Rabbi said, the sages taught that the middle-sized animal was consecrated only when he said, one of my bulls is hereby consecrated. But if he said, a bull from among my bulls is hereby consecrated, only the largest of them is consecrated. If it is as he said, the most valuable bull from among my bulls is consecrated. Any, the Gemara asks, is that so? The Gemara asks, is that so? But didn't Rabbi Huna say that Rabbi Chia said in the name of Ula? One who says to another, I am selling you a house from among my houses, can show him a loft, since he did not specify which house he is selling. Is this not because the loft is the worst of his houses? If so, when one says a bull from among my bulls, he is hereby consecrated, he is presumably referring to the least valuable of his bulls. The Gemara answers, no. Ula did not say that the seller gives the purchaser a loft, but rather the best of his houses. Meisvei, Shor Shor Hegdish, V'chein Shor Shor Hegdish, Nitared B'achem Gadal, Shebehen Hegdish. V'chulam Yimach, V'letzarchi Oilois, Udemehen Chudin. The Gemara raises an objection to the statement of Rabbi bar Avu from a Brighton. If one said a bull from among my bulls is consecrated, or similarly in a consecrated bull, if a consecrated bull became mixed with other non-consecrated bulls, the largest of them is consecrated, and all of the other bulls must be sold to people who vowed to bring burnt offerings for the purpose of bringing them as burnt offerings, since it is uncertain which one of them was consecrated, and the payment for them is non-sacred. Evidently, if one says, I hereby consecrate a bull from among my bulls, all of his bulls have uncertain consecrated status. Targuma Ashur shel hekdish shinsari b'cheirim v'chein kama targuma agadol. The Gemara answers, interpret this as referring only to a consecrated bull that became mixed with others. The Gemara challenges, but doesn't the Braita say, and similarly indicating that this halacha applies to both cases. The Gemara answers, interpret it as referring to the halacha, and the largest of the bulls is consecrated. The halacha does apply to both cases. The halacha does apply to both cases, but the halacha that the rest of the bulls have uncertain consecrated status applies only to the latter case. Meisvei, beis, bais, bibatai, ani morchelach, v'nafu mareu v'nafu, eved v'avoda ani morchelach, u'meis mareu meis. The Gemara raises an objection to the statement of Abba bar Avu from a Braita. If one says to another, I am selling you a house from among my houses, and one of the houses subsequently fell, he can show him the fallen house and say to him, this is the one I sold you. Similarly, if one says to another, I sell you a slave from among my slaves, and one of the slaves dies, he can show him the dead slave and say, this is the slave I sold you. Even if it's not true. Alright?